Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. It's episode number 58, and today we are returning with the special in-depth look at the save, where you'll see what's been going on around the world in football, both domestically, continentally, and internationally as well. What's going on behind the scenes with Brescia, and some stuff you normally wouldn't get to see in a regular episode. Should be lots of fun, so let's just dive right into it. So this is the first Football Manager save of mine you've watched. Firstly, thank you very, very much. I really hope you guys are enjoying it. But basically, my normal FM saves, what I do after every 3 seasons, is do an episode like this where you guys get to look under the hood, if you will, of my Football Manager save. We're 6 seasons in now, so double the time. But now we're going to take a look at what's going on around the world in football, and especially with Brescia Calcio as well. And also as well, thank you for all the support on the series so far. I mean, this is my first ever unique type of FM save, first type of, foreign-based FM save. This is an idea I've been doing for years and years in FIFA. To put it in a Football Manager, I was really nervous, but the support and love you guys have given me has been fantastic. It's been really fun, and long may it continue. After the Champions League final defeat to PSG, there's still a long way to go. So let's start off with me then, and as you can see, despite us having a fully Italian team, as we know the backroom staff is made up from nationalities of everywhere, including me being English and in charge of Brescia Calcio. I'm now 32 years old in the game. Yep, it won't be long for I'm there in real life as well, and as you can see, my characteristics here are mostly very positive indeed. You can see my attributes as well. One thing some of you guys pointed out as well is when the save began, I began with the Continental Pro license and an actual football background as well. Ordinarily, as you know, I started off with no coaching qualifications whatsoever, and also as an amateur footballer as well. In this save, I thought because of the scope of the challenge, the difficulty of the challenge, I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a boost, and that has really helped as well. My reputation now is half a star away from being 5-star, and as you can see, my win percentage down here is 47%. All the honours we've had are in the Serie A as well, 3 straight Serie A titles too, and as you can see, after the contract I signed at the back end of last season, I'm on 50 grand a week, and it expires in 4 years time. Had we beat PSG, I'd have 200 grand in my bank account as well, and Sebastiano Esposito, that's pocket change. I'll start off with what goes on in the boardroom here at Brescia and work our way down to the training pitch. Beginning with our financial situation. As you know, 2 years ago we were taken over midway through the season by Paul Full, a new-gen chairman, if you will, and he injected the Brescia bank, injected a lot of money into the Brescia bank account with the takeover, and as you can see, after staying in the Champions League, which I talked about was the key to our financial security, we currently sit just shy, after the latest prize money, we sit just over £100 million in our bank balance right now, as rich as we've ever been since the save began, so you've got to love that. As we know, the wage expenditure here at Brescia is the biggest problem. I talked about it before. For a club of Brescia's stature in terms of worldwide reputation and sponsorship and merchandising, we don't really make enough money through that alone to pay the expensive wage bill we've got. After we had this massive spike here at the beginning of last season, we now spend over £1 million on weekly wages, which is absolutely ludicrous for a club of Brescia's stature. But as we continue to grow, hopefully the sponsorship and the merchandising and so on will begin to catch up with our rapidly rising wage bill as well. Talked about it before, staying in the Champions League, the prize money we get through that is crucial to us being a financially secure club. If we ever go out of the Champions League, this is going to plummet big time. Talking of what's going to happen in the future, as you can see with the club vision here, you can see that the board have actually reduced the expectations as the years go by to qualify for the Europa League. I'm pretty sure they'll up those expectations in pre-season though, so take this with a pinch of salt. And as you know, you would have seen it right at the back end of the season finale. We were in the process of expanding our stadium by a couple of thousand seats, but the board said that's not good enough for us now that we're Champions League finalists. They've decided to increase it by 8,000 seats, and this work will be completed around this time next year if all things go according to plans. So that's the club vision as we move forward. And as for the club info section as well, we are now regarded as a continentally recognised club with a 4.5-star reputation, and of course we are rich in terms of our bank balance, relatively speaking. As for the general as well, there has been some changes here too. Obviously myself, Esposito and De Pauli made onto the favoured personnel, but after 3 straight titles and a golden boot for Sebastiano, he is now on the icons list alongside myself. Mario Balotelli has lost his place as a favoured personnel, interestingly enough, but Fabio Fabio De Paoli remains there. I'm still surprised that the likes of Armini and Sistana are still not on there yet, and Salcedo as well, but they're still not there yet, but I think they will be in time. And I've talked about it before, sometimes this can feel a bit too hard, if you will, to see one of your players get on the favoured personnel. If you remember my Norwich save, Max Aarons, Ben Godfrey, they never even made it on there, despite all the years they spent with us, but either way, hopefully soon, we'll see someone else get on the favoured personnel list. As for the facilities here, well, interestingly enough, I didn't know this until just now. I'm literally just learning it. We are going to be sharing a stadium next season with Chievo Verona and Hellas Verona. They play at the same stadium. How very interesting indeed. I didn't know that. So there's 3 teams sharing the same stadium next year as we'll be playing our games, not at the Rigamonti, but at the Bentegodi. Interesting lead. 31,000, that was a bit of a weird noise, 31,713 capacities. We've got more seats to fill out, which is good, but of course the fans have to travel to the games a bit further. That's interesting. I did not know we were sharing a stadium next year. I must have missed that. Interesting enough. Well, we're going to be training at the same place though, with state-of-the-art training facilities, state-of-the-art data analysis facilities, and superb youth facilities as well, and also exceptional academy coaching and youth recruitment as well. So behind the scenes, we've really improved the club's facilities here. And I think this is the first time in all my years playing FM for YouTube where I'm sharing a stadium with another team. And another team as well. That's very interesting. So moving down, we'll now take a look at the backroom staff here with Brescia, where as you can see, we have the best coaching setup in the division. You know, I often talk about this. I don't really give tips in Football Manager, or not many, that's for sure, because as I always say, I'm not a good player at this game. I am literally just here to entertain. There are so many great FM YouTubers out there that are way better at the game than me, that give tips and give suggestions. Those are the guys you should be following, not me. But I would always give the occasional tip here and there that I know works for me, and one of them is that you have to have a great backroom staff, for no doubt about it. For player development, you need good coaches, and I've always recommended as well having specialists in certain areas. Some people like a spread out coaching team that are very versatile and can do different things, but for me, I always think specialists in one area is the way to go. You see our fitness team here, they're very, very good at fitness, unsurprisingly. You see we've got a couple of goalkeeping coaches, or 4 goalkeeping coaches actually now. They're very good at those stats there. We've got 3 great attacking coaches. I'll be adding one more after we just lost one whose contract expired at the start of the month. We've got 3 great defensive coaches as well. So to me, it's all about specialists in those areas. And I also believe as well, it does help to have ex-pros in your coaching team as well. As you know, Giuseppe Rossi is my right-hand man, has been since season 2. I've got Martin Demichelis in my coaching team as well. I do believe it helps. I don't know the science behind it. Anthony Niemi, Alexander Ferrer, I don't know the science behind it, but I do believe having ex-pros, and especially as well, international experience does help as well. But yeah, we've got the best coaching team, same with the under-18s and the under-20s, apart from the goalkeeping as well, but I'll improve that over the summer. And yeah, we also got the... what am I doing here? We've also got the best physio team in the division as well. Now, as for our current crop of players, as you can see, this is our team as we end Season 6. Now, there are a couple of interesting things to report as we wrap up the season officially. First things first, we might see a couple of seniors leaving on free transfers at the end of the season, and those are 2 big names. Well, one big name, that's for sure. Nicola Muri, who's been our left-back since Season 2. I got to be honest, at 30 years old, due to turn 31 in December, I'm not against just letting him go on a free transfer. The main reason why is because whilst he is, solid all across the board, he's on 45 grand a week. Is he worth 45 grand a week now that Luca Pellegrini has taken his spot? I'm not entirely sure. And as you know, I'm a big fan of this kid, Matteo Pascucci. Well, I was until I saw the teamwork decrease by a stat. But either way, I'm a big fan of this kid, and I think as a full-sided left player, I'm not against, with him being 10 years younger, him taking over from Muru next season and becoming our out-and-out backup left-back. He's trained at the club, he came through the youth team, so I'm not against doing that, especially as he's on far lower wages. Bonifazi, who we signed from Spal, I think he'll be going on a free transfer. He's played 6 league games in 3 years. I think I'm going to let him go because, again, he's on 19 grand a week. Not an especially high contract. We don't really need him as he barely plays. And also Gennaro Borelli, who came on a free transfer from Pescara as well. He's actually got some really good stats. And I do love the high determination as well, but he barely plays. I might just let him go on a free transfer. He's rarely going to get the game time in the striker role with so many better options, and now that Simonetti's the young kid coming through as well, I think I might let him go as well. But this is how the contract situation is looking anyway. As for the homegrown situation, you know I love this. As you can see, we've got several players, almost half the squad, that are trained at the club. Sistana, Viviani, Salcedo, Arminio Barbieri, Esposito, Pepetti, Parola, Mola, Picardi, Campagna, Vescucci and Peroni, all trained by Brescia, and also 3 players are going to get it in a year or two's time. Those are the Sisto, Franchi and Simonetti as well. You love to see that. Now, as for the dynamic screen with Brescia, as you can see, the team cohesion is very good. The dressing room atmosphere is excellent, as is the managerial support as well. No player issues and no negatives whatsoever. The hierarchy has had a bit of a change, though. Mid-season, I didn't report this, but I will now. Esposito and Armini are still the team leaders, with Nicolo in his first year as captain, captaining us to another Serie A title in the Champions League final. But Fabio De Paoli has now become a team leader, which I really, really like. It was previously Sistana. Viviani spent time there as well, but now De Paoli has become a team leader. He's a fan's favourite. He's in the favoured personnel, and I love to see it as well. He's a brilliant, brilliant right back. I know he was at fault for one of our goals in the Champions League final. We'll always love Fabio, and he's here for the long term. Came in his season 2. What a fantastic player he's been since he signed for us. So De Paoli is now part of the team leader squad, and as for the social groups as well, I talk about it all the time. At the start of the season, you'll normally have 4 splits due to signings and sales, but now we're split into 2, with most in the core and 5 in the secondary. Now, as for the development centre here at Brescia, as we take a look at the youth squad here, as I often say, I don't really get much luck in my youth intake. CP14 has, of course, been the exception to the rule in this save. He's been absolutely amazing and one of the best I've ever had, if not the best I've ever had, in all my years playing FM for YouTube. Actually, I think Webster is probably better, but either way. Let's take a look at the youth team here and the development centre as well. The standout, as you know, is Daniel Triuzzi, who we signed from Inter Milan a couple of years ago. For those that have been curious as to how his development has been, unfortunately, whilst he has been fantastic in all his youth games, the king of assists this year of 21, that's amazing, and he won the youth league with us this year as well. He picked up a major injury this season. It was a torn hamstring, so he was out for 2 months. That happened in March, and he's only just began recovering, so a big blow there for the young man. But he's our best youth prospect. As we know, he'll become homegrown and trained by the clubs we signed him at such an early age. But he's the best youth prospect we've got right now, as we continue to train him as an inside forward on the right hand side. There are a couple of others as well. Mattia Turati was a ball-winning midfielder. He does look pretty decent. He's got a long way to go, and he is now 20 years old as well, but still looks pretty decent. He could be alright in the future. And there's someone else as well that I thought was pretty decent as well, but I can't remember who it was. But for the most part, those are the 2 best. Sergei was another that came out of the academy and does have really great mental stats, but I'm not sure he's going to progress too well as the years go by. I rather would have sold him and had that big clause as well. But that's the youth team though, and that's how we're looking right now. So just real briefly before we move away from Brescia Calcio, the Club World Cup, as we know, is what we will be going into for this summer, for a little summertime fun tournament. As you can see, we've been drawn in Group E alongside LA Galaxy and Pyramids as well. And here are the full Club World Cup groups for you. Now, I'm going to play this. And this is actually going to be in the next episode because, of course, we've never done it before. And I've never actually, in all my years playing FM for YouTube, I've never done the Club World Cup before. Because normally, we go into it after the Champions League final win. But, of course, nowadays, if you lose Champions League final, you go into it. So I'm going to do the Club World Cup in the very next episode. And I'm not going to play every single game, of course. But because it wraps up so quickly, we enter the group stage here. And in 2.5 weeks, or just under 3 weeks, we've had the final. I'm going to play the Club World Cup, and not every game, of course, but yeah, that'll be really fun. So that's our group there, and I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. Normally, I'm not bothered. I don't care, and of course, I never get to play it anyway. But actually, I'm quite excited for that. It should be a lot of fun. So moving away from Brescia as a club, we're now going to take a look at the leagues around the world. As you know, in this save, I've not got any other leagues loaded as playable, but some are on view only. But we'll start, of course, with the Serie A. As you can see, Brescia Calcio. I'm not going to shut up about it for a while because it's the first time I've ever done it, have three-peated. I'm buzzing about that. 3 consecutive Serie A titles. Can we do it for a 4th straight? Is our luck going to run out? I mean, I'm pretty sure it will at some point, because for the 2nd straight season, we came from behind to pip someone to the crown. You absolutely love to see it. So 3 straight Serie A titles for Brescia, and the development we've had since the save began has been absolutely incredible, man. And this is actually our record high as well, 87 points. Never had that many before until now. Things you love to see. And of course, there's Esposito winning the Golden Boot this year as well for the first time ever. He was pipped last year and the year before that too, even though he put up tremendous numbers. But this year, 8 clear of Boadu and certainly deserved it after an incredible year. As for what's going on in the Premier League, well, as we know, Manchester City have been the most dominant side in England, and there is no denying that. They won the title this year once again with 32 wins in 38 to pick up their 5th straight in the Premier League. Man City are like the blueprint that we should be following, right? Considering the fact that's what we want to do, have domestic dominance as long as the save goes on for. Man United won in the first season, but City for the past 5 there, as Sterling won the Golden Boot this year with only 19, interestingly enough. As for La Liga, well, it's actually been very interesting indeed. It's not been Barcelona and Real Madrid dominance, no, far from it. Atletico Madrid have really split the top 2 up there, and as you can see, have won 3 of the 6 titles since the save began, including 2 of the first. Real Madrid finally reclaimed their crown after several years without it. This time round with 105 points. They were certainly out for revenge there, but anyway, fair play to Atletico Madrid. And let's look at that young player there. 22 years old, Manuel Goni from Sevilla. Top scorer this year. Goodness gracious me, very good stats. And as for the Bundesliga as well, as we talked about it, Borussia Dortmund, I said they'd become the best team in Germany. I have to retract that statement a little bit. I'd probably say they're quite even with Bayern Munich. As you can see, since the save began, they've both won 3 titles each, and Bayern Munich have won the past 2 as well. So it's very even there between Bayern and Borussia Dortmund. 2 very similarly matched teams. And yeah, right now those are the 2 best teams in Germany. And as we know with Liga, we discussed it in the Champions League final, but is anyone ever going to pip Paris Saint-Germain? I mean, wow, absolutely remarkable. They've now won 10 straight. Is it 10 straight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 8 straight. 8 straight titles. But I don't think it'll be long before they do win 10 straight. I just can't see any team stopping them in France. Absolutely dominant in French football. So moving down the list, I don't have any other leagues loaded as view only, but I'll show you them and we'll go down to the Championship, I think. Starting with the Russian Premier League, where this year Zenit St. Petersburg won their first title since the 2018-2019 season. I talk about it quite often, but in Portugal, it's pretty much always Benfica or Porto. No change in this save either. Benfica have won 4 and Porto have won 2 of the last 6. Ajax's dominance in the Netherlands has finally come to an end, quite catastrophically, finishing in 3rd this year, as PSV won their first crown since the 2017-2018 season. The Turkish Super League was won by Galatasaray this year. You'd say overall they've been the best team for several years now in Turkey. The Pro League in Belgium was won by Anderlecht this year, their 2nd since the save began. Young Boys won the Swiss League this year, even without Gelson Fernandes. In fact, I'm going to find out where Gelson Fernandes is just real briefly. Speaking of Switzerland, I want to know where Gelson Fernandes is. He would have retired by now. Oh, he's unemployed coach. Do I take him on? He was my right-hand man in my Norwich show, for those who didn't watch that. Gelson Fernandes, does he become part of the Brescia coaching staff? Maybe. I'm sure I'll find a spot for him somewhere. Polish League this year was won by a team whose name I'm surely going to mispronounce horribly, so do forgive me for any of my Polish fans out there. Lechia Gdansk is how I'm going to pronounce them, but they won the title this year. I don't think I've ever seen them win the title in all my years doing FM videos for YouTube, but in fact, since the save began, they've been consistently in the top 3. Now, I've got to say, I don't know really anything about this club, so any of my Polish viewers, please let me know about them, but interesting stuff. They won the title this year, fair play. And as for the Danish League, FC Copenhagen from Copenhagen are absolutely dominating Danish football right now. Wow, 6 straight titles and 9 of the last 10. Wow, 8 of the last 9, sorry. AEK win the Greek League this year. They and Olympiacos have split 3 each since the save began. Well, interestingly enough, I did not expect to see this either. Red Bull Salzburg have, despite winning the last 2 titles in Austria, have not had the best of success. In fact, LASK Linz have won it twice as well. Rapid Vienna have won 1, as have Sturm Graz as well. I remember them from a PlayStation 1 Champions League game I used to play. But okay, Red Bull Salzburg back on top, but for how much longer? And as for the Championship, I don't have the league loaded, unfortunately, but I can't see Millwall. I can't see Millwall anywhere. What a shame. But Leeds United won it this past year, and there's been a different winner since the save began. Let's do a couple more, shall we? Start off with the Ukrainian League. Dynamo Kiev back-to-back titles there after Shakhtar have also won 3, and Zorya have won 1 as well. I don't know why, but I really like showing you who's been winning what in the leagues around the world as well. I've got such a fantastic fan base from people from all over the world. It's kind of cool to show you guys what's been going on in your country, you know. As the Czech Republic, Slavia Prague won the title this year. Sparta Prague won 3 of the 6 since the save began. It always happens in the Scottish Premier League. I've discussed this so many times. It's always Celtic winning the Scottish Premier League. Rangers are consistently always the runners-up, but it's always Celtic for them. I think I might have only seen Rangers win it once in all the years I've played Football Manager and presented videos for YouTube. It's just Celtic dominance year after year. We'll do a couple more. Dynamo Zagreb's reign as best team in Croatia has come to an end this year, but for how much longer you wonder. Hajduk Split picked them to the title this year and prevented them from winning their, what would it have been, 8 straight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8 straight title. I'll do a couple more whilst I'm here. First Romania, as you can see, CFR Cluj won the title this year. AIK were the Swedish champions. Actually, no, from last season. This season has not been wrapped up yet. I think, doesn't their season end in the winter time? I think I might be right there, but AIK won the last one anyway. And as for Israel, as you can see, I think I'm going to pronounce this team wrong, so I do apologise. Hapoel Be'er Sheva have won 3 straight now in Israel. And I'll do one more as well whilst I'm here. Actually, go down to 25, so we'll go with Bulgaria first. Ludogorets have won back-to-back championships there, and 3 of the last 6. And the final one we'll do, 25 in Slovakia. Slovan Bratislava were champions this year. They've won 2 of the last 3. MSK Zilna have won 3 of the last 5. So moving on to the continental competitions in club football, starting with my favourite Europa Conference League, the Mickey Mouse competition as I call it. As you can see, a different winner since the competition began in 2021-22. First Sevilla, they got tired of winning the Europa League every year, so they're going to start winning this one now. Then Wolves, Lokomotiv Moscow, interestingly enough, and then Sporting Lisbon last year. Barcelona won the Europa League this year, beating Porto in the final. There's been a different winner since the save began. First Real Madrid, then Chelsea, Manchester United, Milan, Dortmund, and now Barcelona. And as for the Champions League, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, I know it is. It's going to sting when we see it again. But yes, of course, after the defeats in the final, Paris Saint-Germain have won their 2nd Champions League in 4 years. Spurs won it in the inaugural year of the save. Then Liverpool winning their 2nd in 3. Then PSG, Man City, Bayern Munich last year. And this year, Paris Saint-Germain did so well to reach the final. Look at that for an interesting Champions League final in the first year. Spurs versus Galatasaray. But yeah, PSG, champions for the 2nd time in 4 years. I think they are becoming now the best team in the world. I think it's between them and Man City for who's the best team in the world right now. I'm going to show a couple more things from around the world, starting off with the Copa Libertadores. Last year, River Plate were the champions. They've won it 2 times in the save, as have Gremio, Boca Juniors, and Peñarol from Uruguay won the others in this save. As for Major League Soccer, as you can see, LA Galaxy and LAFC have won 2 of the last 4, and Atalanta United, first team from an East Coast, won it this year around. I do apologise if I've got this wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the African Champions League. As you can see, the past winners are on the right-hand side for you there. 3 times. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa have won it. ES Sahel have won 2. And Bidvest Wits have won 1 as well. I do apologise for the pronunciations there. And now let's take a look at some international competitions as well. I'll start off with the Copa America, I think. And as you can see, Brazil have won 2 of the last 3, Uruguay winning the other. The African Cup of Nations was won by Morocco this season. Senegal 2 years before, then Mali and Algeria, interestingly enough, different winner each time. Now moving on to the European international competitions, starting with the Nations League. As we know, Italy won it 2 years ago. Germany won it this time around, which was, what was it? Hang on, was that this summer? When was that? Was that? Oh, that must have been midway through the season. Interestingly enough, was it midway through the season when that happened? No, it was. Oh, it literally just happened. It happened as I was going through. Italy. Oh wow, I didn't even know that. Italy in the Nations League lost in the semis after a shootout where Esposito missed one. Look, lads, it's time now. It's time. I know you've had your dominance, but Stefano, you might have only been there for a year. You let the country down. You let the country down, son. It's my time. Come on. The European Championship was won by Italy, as we know, last year, beating France in the final after Emerson scored the game winner. So Italy won it this year. Switzerland actually won it back in 2020, beating Croatia in the final. How about that? And as for the Holy Grail, the World Cup, as we know, Italy are also the holders of that. Won it 3 years ago, the only time we've had a World Cup in the save, beating France on spot kicks. And of course, the next World Cup will be in a year's time. Italian FA, it's time. It's time for me to become manager of the country. You've seen what I've done with Brescia. The domestic dominance, taking them to the Champions League final. I know there's still a lot of young players here. Oh, Franchi got called up, no way, but they didn't play him. Why didn't you play him, Pioli? Why didn't you play him? But, yeah, it's time, man. It's time for me to become Italy manager. Come on, you know I can lead you to the World Cup success again. And I think that is practically all there is to it. I love showing you guys what goes on behind the scenes in my FM saves, and I hope you found this very interesting indeed. Do you know what I'm going to do just real quickly, just to end the episode off, just real quickly, I'm going to show you the best players in world football based on valuation alone, and you can see who right now is the highest rated players in terms of their worldwide valuation. Starting off with Mbappe, as we know, of Paris Saint-Germain, and there's a lot of Paris Saint-Germain players here. As you can see, Kai Havertz, Rodrigo Bentancur, Leon Bailey. We showed you those guys before, and I talked about it very briefly just a moment ago there. The best two teams in the world right now are Man City and Paris Saint-Germain, dominating English football and Premier League football in particular. Jadon Sancho has literally just signed for Liverpool. That must have literally just gone through, because this season he was at Dortmund. And yes, is that a sign of things to come in real life? You wonder. A £100 million bid, and he's finally returned to his native home country. Sancho at Liverpool, very interesting indeed. Frenkie de Jong is now at Man City in the game. Gabriel Jesus has turned into an absolutely incredible striker there as well. Haaland is at City. Felix is at Man City. Phil Foden is still there. Vinicius Jr. is there as well. Yeah, you can see the best two teams in the world right now. Lautaro Martinez of Liverpool now. David Neres at Dortmund as well. Sterling is up there too, now 30 years old as well. So yeah, these are the best players in world football right now based on valuation alone. And I wonder who is the highest earner in world football. I'm going to guess that's the best new gen and regen in the game, Pedri. That's not a new gen slash regen. I thought it was a new gen slash regen. My apologies, Pedri. But where's the best new gen slash regen? Where's the best new gen slash regen in the game? There he is, Angel Luis Marine of Chelsea. My goodness gracious me. So who's the top earner? I'm going to guess it's Mbappe. And it's actually Neymar on 600 grand a week. Griezmann is second with 550, and then Kylian Mbappe on 500 grand a week as well. I thought my wage bill was high. My goodness gracious me. Thank God Paris Saint-Germain have got the money to pay all of those ridiculous contracts. So that is going to end today's episode of Club and Country, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed the special in-depth look at the save, and if you have, then please do drop a like. It's been an incredible series so far, and after the Champions League final defeat, there is still a long way to go, clearly, despite the domestic dominance. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and in the next episode, of course, we'll return with the Club World Cup, the first time I've ever done it on YouTube. Very excited for it, and we'll kick off and finish the Club World Cup in one episode coming out in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the Club World Cup for the first time with Brescia Calcio very soon.